Welcome to the Galactic Mind Weather Report. So I'm coming to you today on the start of the 13 days of what's known as the White Mirror Wave Spell. So this is 13 days dedicated to the cleaning of our inner mirrors, of how we see this reflection of the world around us and how we respond to it or react to it. And if you've been tracking these weather reports, you'll know that yesterday we closed off the 13 days of the Red Serpent Wave Spell. Now, this is infamous for being one of the most intense waves in the times that we've been tracking this, because it really challenges our survival instinct. And because we are brought up generally, for many of us in the Western world, we're brought up in a relatively safe environment. And, we don't have to worry about, crazy rebellions going on, or at least here in Australia. Don't have to worry about, starving or anything. Yes, if you run out of food, there's a way to make it through. We're quite fortunate in the bigger picture of things when you look at some of these other countries where, the survival issues are very primal. They're very alive. Every day they have to face real survival issues. Now, the downside to that is that we tend to become very lethargic in a way. We become very kind of placid, and just kind of accept whatever our situation is because it's not threatening our lives directly. So it means it doesn't necessarily, we end up creating these dramas and these illusions that we start fighting over and trying to protect ourselves from. And really, in the greater picture of things, they're not that important. We can create so much drama over things that really aren't that problematic. And so this last 13 days has been really triggering us to see, where are we responding from fear? How are we reacting to the world around us? And are we really listening to the situation? So if someone triggers you, it could be on Facebook. There's been a lot of that going on the last 2 weeks. It could be in politics. It could be in a conversation, in family, in relationship, at work, at school, anywhere. When you get triggered in these moments, are you taking time to drop into your own emotional response or reaction, we should say, to see what's fueling your reaction? Because you'll feel yourself getting pissed off. You'll feel yourself getting like, oh, the arrogance of that, or that person, or he doesn't know about this, or she doesn't understand what I've been through. And we can trigger and start firing up and start projecting outwards. And there's a lot of that through the Red Serpent Wave Spell. So it's really triggered our insecurities and brought them to the surface. And so now for this 13 days of the White Mirror, beginning today, the theme is about endless reflection to create order in our lives. And what that means is that take all of that triggering, all of that emotional turbulence and discomfort that's happened in this last 2 weeks, and use it as fuel for cleaning your mirror, for polishing your mirror, as Ram Dass would say. Every time you come up against some conflict, or every time you get triggered, it's an incredible opportunity to not run away, to not project it out and blame it all over those people around you, but to follow that discomfort. Use that trigger to highlight somewhere you feel uncomfortable and go inwards. Sit with it, slow down, and where is this? Where is this feeling? See physically in your body. Is it in your solar plexus? Is it like this stuck, churning emotional feeling? Is it in your bones, in your body? Is your breath getting shallow, or are you breathing properly? Bring it back and follow that discomfort back into your body. And if you sit with that and you stay long enough with that discomfort, instead of projecting it out straight away, then what often happens is suddenly something rises up out of that discomfort. Something unlocks inside you and begins to release. It's almost like releasing this old karma. It's this experience, this emotional drama that's been trapped inside, maybe from something that happened in childhood or growing up or whatever your beliefs are. And in the end, we often think that we need to go back through every single trauma of our childhood and fix them so that we can be free now. But through my experience, I've tend to come to find that we don't necessarily have to go all the way back and get resolution with all the different parties that were part of that trauma and all the thing. but rather if we can just in each moment respond to the trigger that is arising then, not the mental story of where it comes from, and follow that discomfort in and allow it to rise up and give it space, give it our awareness without the story, then often we can allow that emotion to come up, and it can be really gritty, it can be really uncomfortable, it can be disgusting, and you'll know if it's feeling overwhelming, then sometimes it is important to ask for help. It's sometimes to ask someone that you know can hold space for you. And if you don't have that in your family, then look for help. Look to the social workers and the people in your area, you know, and look for the best you can find to help hold space so that when it comes up, you're supported. And we can just allow that to come up and out. And what begins to happen during this white mirror wave spell is we begin to see that the way we are perceiving our reality, the way we often perceive ourselves as the victim of our reality and of what's happening around us, is a byproduct of this emotional turbulence or this trapped energy, emotion, you know, it's energy in motion that's trapped in our body, no longer in motion. This energy that's trapped in the cells from our past, that is kind of triggering these survival instincts to behave as if this little thing that's happening today is as big and terrifying as what happened in the past. And so instead of reacting outwardly straight away, my recommendation for myself and for anyone that wishes to listen for this next 12 days to follow is to take that time to follow it in, and first and foremost find out, why are you taking it so personal? Why are you triggering so much with the behavior of someone that's outside of you? Especially on social media, Facebook, those kinds of places. You know, if they're not right there in your near vicinity, why is it such an importance? Why is it digging deep? What buttons is it pushing inside you? Because if you can take responsibility for that, and you can clean that part up in yourself, then it means you're going to be able to see through a much cleaner lens, a much cleaner mirror of the reality around you and the truth of what's actually hiding in these interactions. And then the magic that begins to arise is we see that maybe things aren't as terrible as they appear at times. Maybe we don't need to fight and react and rage and go through so much external as we think we do. And we'll also get a lot more clear about the times where it is important to let a little bit of rage up. You know, sometimes we do have to stand on our 2 feet, shoulders back, stand empowered and say no. But in order to have a clean no, we've got to polish that mirror, that inside mirror, and make sure we're perceiving our reality cleanly without this projection from our wounding of our past. Because when we push that out onto each other, it becomes a very messy, unorganized, chaotic society, which is what we're dealing with. So much stuff coming up. So instead of telling everyone else to fix their mirrors and clean their mirrors, just make sure during this next 2 weeks that you're polishing your own. And I know for sure that I'm doing that process myself. It's been a very intense Red Serpent wave spell for me. And there's been a lot of triggers that have shown me things that I didn't realize were still there. And I can feel now, coming to this white mirror, this incredible opportunity to not take it so personal, to not feel like I've failed because I'm not perfect, but rather to see the blessing of these recent events that have shown me where I'm not as in alignment as I thought I was, that I'm not as on target as I thought I was, that it's such a gift that this red serpent showed me this, because now I can do something about it. So may the white mirror be gentle, may the reflections come gracefully, and I'll see you midway spell. So much love in Lakesh.